Good morning and welcome from Nairobi. We are joined today for our AHIF podcast series by Maya Ziadeh. She's the Chief Development Officer, Premium, Mid-Scale and Economy at Accor for Middle East, Africa and Turkey. Welcome, Maya.
So again, thank you, Tanya, and happy to be with you. I had development for Accors Premium, Mid-Scale Economy brands in Middle East, Africa and Turkey. So my role is actually to expand and grow our brands in this region. And the premium mid-scale economy brands are foundational to Accor. So they present 90% of Accor's global portfolio and 70%, around 70% of development signings. The brands actually are, the Swiss Hotel, Movenpick, Pullman, Grand Mercure, Mercure, and we have the Novotel, Ibis Family, Adagio for extended stay, and the newly launched brand Handwritten Collection, among other brands as well.
Okay, and we'll come to the Handwritten collection, a collection for independent hotels a bit later in our podcast here. And looking at Accor strategy for Africa. So what is your strategy when it comes to the African hospitality investment market?
Africa, is a very promising market, and it's very promising for hotel investment, of course, especially in the long run. With having the world's youngest and fastest growing population. The forecast is to have around 2.5 billion people by 2050. So you could tell the investment in this continent would be huge. And as you know, Africa is urbanizing faster than any other country. Mm-hmm. We have now Cairo and Lagos having 10 million people in terms of population. And the forecast is to have actually 10 more cities following Lagos and Cairo. So the potential is huge. And Accor was one of the first movers to Africa with its brands. We had the Novotel Cairo, Cairo Airport opened in 1981. We have the Ibis Abidjan, which opened 1982. So the focus is there, and we keep on focusing on this continent in cities or in countries such as Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Senegal, Egypt, and Morocco, among others. In terms of business model, and alongside the management model, we're also focusing on franchise, especially in tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
So what partners, as you have mentioned franchise, what type of partners are you looking for in Africa?
We're actually looking, and we're currently working with the different type of partners, from sovereign funds to private equity, to local developers, ultra high net worth individuals, different type of partners. It depends. What we focus on is, of course, a partner who has knowledge of regulatory requirements, who's willing to adapt brand standards and operational practices, and of course, who has secured financing of the project. Now, in terms of business model, we work with owners who own the asset, and we manage that asset, and we work with franchisees. Franchisees who have expertise in operating hotels and have management capabilities. If not, we also work with third-party operators.
Fantastic. And looking how the market has actually changed over the last 3-4 years, what have you witnessed in the African hospitality market? How has it evolved in the last 18 months, and what trends have you seen in the market?
It has tremendously evolved. We've seen, many trends in the African markets, especially after COVID. People wanted to, the leisure demand has increased. Hence, the growth in the resort destination had increased as well. So we're seeing trends in, we're seeing demand in resorts in places like North Coast in Egypt. Too many investment for resort. We're also, we're seeing trends in growth in conversions versus greenfield, specifically from private equity firms. We're seeing demand in branded residences, and this is to mitigate the investment risk. We're seeing huge demand in extended stay as well and dual brands. And this is with the rise of the African middle class and the intra-regional market. So yes, again, especially COVID has played a big part on changing the trends in Africa.
So you've mentioned you have seen a trend towards the leisure side. You have seen a trend in terms of long stay. So, what's your brand strategy for Africa? Where do you see priorities in this market, and what brands are you planning on growing on the African continent?
Accor is well established in Africa with around 150 hotels across North, West Africa and Sub-Saharan. So our priority is definitely to complete our existing network in key cities, is to grow our brands in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, especially with franchise. And going back to the trend, we would love to develop resort destinations like in Senegal, in Ivory Coast, Egypt. This is in terms of priorities. Now, in terms of brands, it really depends. It really depends on the location, on demand drivers, on budget for the owner, and many other factors. So these factors will determine what brand is suitable for this for any project. And again, we need to take into consideration the return on investment for the owner. This is a very important factor as well prior to deciding on the brand. Having said that, we have brands in the premium segment, such as Pullman, in the mid-scale segment, such as Novotel, and the economy segment, such as Ibis. So we have brands, we have in every segment, so we can propose the right one for every project. These brands are well established in Africa, and of course, the Movenpick brand has very strong recognition in Egypt because of our existing in Egypt a long time ago with the Movenpick Resort in Al-Qusair that has opened in the 1990s.
Fantastic. As you have mentioned, Accor is actually well established in terms of brands and has got a good or a wide, large portfolio of brands. You have recently established, as you have mentioned before, the mid-scale brand Handwritten for independent hotels. Would you see, or tell us a little bit more about the brand, and would you see growth potential in Africa for lesser known Accor brands?
So yeah, absolutely. The collection brands are very strong, and they actually represent one of the highest growth category in the hotel industry today. Hence, we launched the Handwritten collection early 2023, and it was designed with having the owner in mind. What does the owner want? The owner of an existing property wants to keep the identity of this property. There is certain attachment, so they would love to keep the identity. They would love to keep this personality of the property. However, they would like to be part of a global portfolio to benefit from the scale of the operator, of the international operator.
And the distribution network, I guess, will be important as well to independent hotels joining, let's say the Handwritten collection.
Exactly. So what we do is the target is to have an asset with again strong soul, strong identity, strong personality. We put the name above the asset, but we plug in our system so the owner benefits from Accor's sales, distribution, and loyalty platform. That's the intention of the brand. This will benefit the owner as well to optimize cost and to maximize return on investment.
So what advice would you give to young women wanting to start their career in the hospitality industry, Maya?
I actually don't believe in men and women in any industry. I believe in a positive attitude, in a mindset that is open for challenges, for growth, for opportunities. I believe in winning spirit. This is what I believe in. And, if there is a challenge, we just need to take it. And once we take it, we think about strategizing, about planning, about growing our career. But let's take this challenge. And, I studied law, but hospitality was my choice. So I chose to be in hospitality. It was very difficult back then, 20 years ago. It was very difficult. It's not like nowadays, much easier, especially in the Middle East region. So I chose hospitality. I started in F&B. I moved to front office and then moved to corporate office. I had challenges, yes, big time, but I enjoyed every bit of them. The experience was amazing. The hospitality is an amazing industry. There is action, there is, meeting people, meeting owners, meeting clients. This is like part of life, as if, we're interacting with each other. This human touch is amazing. So I would encourage everyone to be part of this hospitality journey. And if I may take Nike slogan, I would say just do it.
Yeah, I find the industry very inspiring myself, and I think it's one of the, the industries with the widest opportunities to be in. So, thank you so much, Maya. It was lovely speaking to you, and I'm sure to catch up with you personally at one of our events very soon.
Thank you very much, Tanya, for having me.